Before that, you had a film out yourself, as I recall.
Aye.
Which was when...
Give my regards to Broad Street.
Right, which has now been knocked down, incidentally. Broad Street Station.
Yes, I know. They did that shortly after we left. It was something I said, I think.
Well, there's a whole new development down there.
Yes, it was mooted at the time, actually, yeah, and all the people saying, "No, it's going, it's going."
Why did you pick Broad Street?
I don't know, really. It was a silly adventure, the whole thing, really. It started off when I'd written a script, which was going to be just a short thing for TV. But we made the fatal mistake of thinking, well, TV's 50 minutes, a film's only 90. Let's stretch it. And of course, it's a whole other beast, a TV thing.
I've heard you put down this film before, but actually, I thought it was a great film.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a great film. I don't think it's bad. And I think it works really well on video. And when it comes down to the TV screen, it does work. And, it was great to do. But, I mean, it's not my favourite film in the world, or else, I would have claimed it. But I think there's films that are better. I wasn't that pleased, obviously, with my script, because that was eventually what a film is. It's the script. And then you hear someone like Steven Spielberg saying, the fifth draft of the script is very important. I thought, well, I hardly did one. I just kind of knocked it off, and I luckily found people who'd make it. So I'm not ashamed of it, but I don't think it's the greatest film in the world. But fans do write into me and say, I wish you'd stop saying that. I like it and stuff. So I'm with them, really, I suppose.
Now, you've made quite a number of films. I mean, Hard Day's Night and all the Beatles films. You going to make any more films? Would you like to do more films or more music for films?
Well, at the moment, I'm more into just being a musician. I recently got a script, actually, of it looks to me like a sort of Gene Wilder script. It's that kind of a character, it's kind of innocent person, and it's a great part, really. And I don't know, I'm not really aspiring to be an actor just now. I don't really like the film world. Actually, it's very hard-edged. It's you win or lose everything. It's like Batman. If it doesn't do well, knives come out and everyone gets sacked overnight. It's all so important, and they can be pretty treacherous. Film people, it's some man in LA who's
who just dismisses it and moves on to the next thing.
And he could be on heavy drugs for all we know, and he just, let's face it. And he just sort of says, I don't know, we make some decision that you're not really involved in. So it's like record companies, only about 1,000 times worse. So I personally like music. I'm enjoying touring. I'm now looking forward to this thing I'm doing, the orchestral thing I'm doing next year with Carl Davis, which is with the Liverpool Philharmonic.
Yeah.
That's a kind of a big project at the moment, which is great fun. And I'm writing that with Carl. We're kind of coming towards the end of writing that.
Sounds interesting.
Well, that's one of those things. If it works, it'll be really great. If it doesn't, watch out, I'll be living in Vienna. But, that's very exciting. And then the next album I'm looking forward to, we've got a live album coming out from the tour.
This is the one you were mixing earlier on when we interrupted you?
Mixing that you so kindly took me away from. And but the real one I'm probably looking forward to most is the next studio album with this band, because I'm quite excited.
Yeah, it's a very tight band, actually, isn't it?
They're real good players, and the tour we're doing at the moment is mainly Beatles songs or Wing songs and stuff. So the band are playing a lot of other people's material. So it'll be quite exciting when they're playing their own songs. That's the solo he played, and that's. And Hamish is such a great singer, I'd love to just use him more, because he's, with the Average White Band, he's well into soul and sort of black music. So I think there's a few kind of. When are the Beatles going to reform? is that the one?
That's the exact question.
Well said. And I think you better answer it, Steve, in that case.
Well,
it's
not exactly for me to say.
No, the thing is, while John was alive, obviously there was some kind of possibility, but the minute he died, it really became impossible to get a Beatles reunion, I think me, George and Ringo could get together to do something, in the future, and there may be something we can do there, think of to do. We've actually, the main thing would be to get back together, to sit down and start playing together and see if it still feels any good, because if it doesn't, there's really no point in bothering. But I suspect it probably would, as we played together so long, that we probably would just fall back into something good. And then there might be something fun there, but who knows.
What do you make of Julian Lennon? Do you think
he's great, I think he's smashing, I think he's got a real good voice. I think it's always very difficult when you've got a famous father, you know. He sounds so like John in some of the songs.
But that's why I mentioned that. I mean, would you ever consider, you know, an outside chance of having Julian?
I don't think that would happen, you know. I think people could kind of look at it and it sounds like a possible thing to do. I don't think he'd be that keen in having, boy, talk about pressure on his wee head.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that would be very pressured. And I don't really think we'd want to do it. You know, it's, I can't imagine George going for something like that.
But you would, are you saying...
I wouldn't be keen to do it either.
Okay. But are you saying you would, are you ruling out the remaining Beatles ever getting back together again?
No, not at all, no. There used to be a big major problem, as usual, like business things. And we've had a business thing going on forever. With lawyers, you know, scrambling to see who can sort of, you know, keep it going longest. But, in fact, that obstacle's been removed now. So really, probably pretty soon we'll get together. And as I say, you know, if we get a chance, we might sit down with a guitar and a wee bongo or something.
Right.
And if anything comes of it, then that could be the start of something fab.
You're listening to Radio... Oh, yeah. You're listening to Radio 1 FM. It's 5:14. This is Steve Wright in the afternoon. Our live guest today is Paul McCartney. We'll be right back with Paul McCartney.
Yeah!